Welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're watching the Drake feature Curse. Amidst all of the drama, the Kendrick Drake drama has probably come to an end. And if I've reacted to both disses, both sides. And a lot of people have asked me like, what would I like rate this? Like a lot of friends have asked me like, what would I rate this beef all time? I definitely would give it a incomplete. Like I don't feel like I feel like the way it went away, and they said Drake still has like one more that he's gonna put out. Top Dog said Kendrick is finished putting out diss records. The ending of this kind of just, you know what I mean? Like it was going up, everybody was on it, and now it just, it sucks. It sucks the way it ended. Obviously, I put out a short not too long ago, saying how like Drake house was getting shot up or a security guard got shot, and I was like, this is going a little bit too far, and then a lot of people have told me that it's not even between Drake and Kendrick, it's some stuff between Drake and The Weeknd and all this stuff, and it's like, all right, cool. For it to end, it sucks the way it ended, but like everything that's happening, like from this, is kind of unfortunate. But let's learn about this Drake's feature Curse.
For years, people have talked about Drake giving new artists a major boost with a feature, either on one of their songs or guesting on his projects. Because he's seen as putting so many rappers on over the years, it's no surprise that a lot of them feel indebted to him.
I mess with Drake, like, he a cool dude, you know what I'm saying? He like,
right.
He real observant.
So this has been in a long time.
Me, like 2018, we're gonna make it happen, but we made it happen for real.
But while we all know the success stories of people like Lil Baby and 21 Savage, what happens when the Drake cosign backfires and becomes the highlight of your career? Ooh. And does that feature from Drizzy come with strings attached? That means
so I was talking about this with my friends, talking about this with my homies, and I was talking about how Drake stays successful in the charts, right? Because like Drake, obviously like he's one of the most successful artists of all time if you look at the numbers, and I've always like said that like his I'm not saying that he's relevant because of these people, because Drake is going to be relevant no matter what, but I've always said that Drake uses these new artists to find new audience to keep his name like at the top of the charts. Like Drake said something about him being the top of the charts and Kendrick not having like that many like number ones and stuff like that, but it's like a lot of your newfound fame is because of these younger artists. That a lot of these younger artists already have fan bases that are now added to yours. And now, oh shit, we can fuck with Drake because it is. We can fuck with Drake because it is. Oh, Drake make this type of music now. We can fuck with Drake because it is. And whereas though Kendrick and J. Cole kind of stayed in their own path, like J. Cole really, only time you really see J. Cole collaborate with people is if they're known artists or if they're part of Dreamville. Kendrick really don't do shit unless it's Baby Keem. Like, Baby Keem is the only motherfucker that was really featured on shit. Kodak Black was featured on some shit on his Big Steppers, Mr. Morale album. Like, Kendrick and J. Cole, they really don't mess with too many people. Whereas though Drake, he has this crazy audience because he got a lot of futures. Like, you looking at the people up there, like Yeet and Lil Durk and Lil Baby, Migos, like. And it always gonna look good on him, like he's saying. It's always gonna look good on him because it look like he's helping them, but in reality, it's a two-way street. So it looks good on him that he's helping them, but at the same time, they're helping him stay relevant. I feel like that was a lot.
You can never escape his shadow. From Kendrick Lamar accusing Drake of, quote, running to Atlanta when he needs a few dollars, and specifically mentioning how he uses his features with rappers like Future, 21 Savage, Lil Baby, and 2 Chainz as a way to be more accepted by the culture, it highlights a deeper point that I want to dive more into later in the video. Cause these days, we have rappers like Rod Wave, a top selling rapper with a diehard fan base, and the ability to sell out huge venues worldwide, even going as far as to turn down a feature from Drake. So it's clear that something fishy is going on, but before we get into how things went so wrong, I first need to explain how Drizzy got this reputation as a cheat code for success. By the year 2020, Drake assisted 32 artists to their highest Hot 100 position at the time. This included major stats like Kendrick Lamar, Future, Lil Baby, and many, many more. On average, the artists climbed up 19 spots from their previous highest position. Plus, 18 of these artists had never even made it onto the charts in the first place before they got that Drake stimmy. His peak moment of helping other artists came in 2017 when he brought 7 fellow rappers onto the billboards, or at least gave them a boost. By 2021, he'd appear on 41 projects as a guest since 2015, and 30 times out of those 41, his track had the highest streams on Spotify and YouTube for the entire project. And of course, Drake didn't just let those numbers speak for themselves. He's constantly boasted about these accomplishments on songs like Mob Ties.
Lead the league in scoring, man, but look at my
And now that Drake is facing opposition from artists like Future, Rick Ross, The Weeknd, and Kendrick Lamar during the Rap Civil War that's taken up.
Lead the league in scoring, man, but look at my
And now that Drake is facing opposition from artists like Future, Rick Ross,
put your titties away, bro. Put your titties away, bro.
The Weeknd, and Kendrick Lamar during the Rap Civil War that's taken a hold of the game, his track Push-Ups also hinted towards those who benefited from the stimulus package, with shots like every song that made it onto the charts he got from Drizzy, and your first #1, I had to put it in your hand. Because of the reputation as a hitmaker who can uplift an artist's career, it's meant that getting the guest spot from Drake outshines cosigns from legends in the industry.
A Jay-Z feature is still considered one of the most important features you can get. To this day.
He don't do it a lot though.
Drake.
This was especially true for someone like Lil Durk, who was famously featured on Drake's absolute smash hit, Laugh Now, Cry Later.
In the studio, right? This motherfucker Drake come through the DM like, see your number. Man, you told me this before. I supposed to be on that compilation he did, like, he dropped like 4 songs. We didn't get on it. So when he said, give me his number, I'm like, he sent the song through. I called everybody. Are you rich? It's over with. Like, shit, he got that touch for real. You hear me? I turned to a fan that motherfucking day. I called everybody. Mama. It's over down. With. I'm finna do this motherfucker. We finna fuck him up on, and we finna go. And then when we came out, and the song was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
We went straight to 100.
And then it just kept
Shout out to Drizzy, man.
Yeah, shout out Drake though. He definitely helped the motherfucker out 1,000.
Praised by so many who got that first taste of the billboard through him, it's one of the few things that, until recently at least, most of his fellow MCs were happy to salute Drizzy for.
I'm the only person that put on for me when I ain't have nobody was Drake. I'm talking about Drake was the first person to put on like before anybody. He didn't want to sign me.
Yeah.
He didn't.
But I think the beef between Rocky and Drake is not solely just because of them. I think it was because of what Drake like kind of in a way sneak diss Rihanna and her loss, and I think that's when Rocky was this. I don't feel like if Rihanna was not in the equation, I feel like ASAP and Drake wouldn't have any problems. But I feel like that fact that he's with Rihanna and you kind of took shots at my girl, my baby mom, I think that's what turned Rocky on Drake.
When it was like, yo, that's raw talent, yo. Like, you gotta shine, yo. I'm gonna see to it. I forever owe Drake.
Well, that's a little awkward now, considering the recent events that's taken the game by storm. But as much as Drake fans like to talk about how he can basically give rappers exposure or even revive their careers, this is only one side of the story. Because for every success for people like Flacco, Savage, or The Weeknd, there are people like BlockBoy JB, Sosa Geek, OVO Signese Division in the UK gigs, who haven't returned to the Billboard charts ever since. As for others who kept their place in the game, the problem is that they just failed to replicate the early rush of publicity that came from the Drizzy feature. That's why when the new artist Forbats got a collab with Drake, which debuted with 3 million streams in its opening 24 hours on Spotify, not everyone saw it as a good thing for his future. So who are the artists whose careers capsized after getting the call from Drake? And how much is he to blame? When you think of an artist who fell off after getting the Drake feature, they don't come much bigger than BlockBoy JB.
But what I will say though you get a feature from Drake, I feel like a lot of artists benefited from getting a feature with Drake and then immediately dropping a project. You gotta ride that high. Like you can't wait 2 years then put out a project, because at that point people have forgotten about you, because if we only know you for that feature with Drake, that's all you are. So when you put out a new project, you got to make sure it's still on that high. Like you got to keep pushing out. Like you got that #1. All right, cool. Here's 3 more songs. Like to keep your name out there. Cause like I think that's the same thing that happened with Roddy Ricch. He didn't do a feature with Drake, but like he was riding high. He was riding high and took 2 years off. And in that moment, in this music industry, 2 years is a lot. 2 years is a lot, especially when you got TikTok, you got Instagram, you got Twitter, you got stuff. There's new artists popping out of fucking nowhere, taking number ones, hopping on the billboards. Like, there's new artists every fucking day. There's a new artist that just comes out of fucking nowhere that could put out a fucking song and it could go viral. So now you took that 2 years off and we only knew you for that little bit, and now here comes all these new artists. All these new artists are coming out the woodwork. And now, slowly but surely, motherfuckers don't really remember Roddy Ricch no more. Like, slowly but surely, we don't care about your music no more, because the music that we were waiting for, the music that we were, like, creating space for, somebody filled that shit. Somebody's filled the void of your absence. And once you do that shit, bro, it's like, we don't really need you no more. And that's the fucked up part about it. Like, we got somebody now. That shit is crazy, though.
A Memphis MC who initially garnered attention with tracks like Shoot, Rover featuring 21 Savage, and the dance that Fortnite would later steal, BlockBoy JB found himself getting the famed DM from Drizzy, where he claimed he was his favorite rapper. They would eventually collab on a hit song titled Look Alive, and it went crazy when it debuted, as it basically took over the game and quickly landed BlockBoy in the XXL freshman list for 2018, as well as a record deal with Interscope. Peaking at number 5 on the Billboard charts, the track's official video now has over 390 million views on YouTube alone. But for all the momentum he had, it's all just evaporated once Drizzy did what he always does and moved on to the next hot thing. When his debut album Fatboy dropped in 2020, it failed to chart, and the same unfortunately goes for 2022's Back to the Block. Although he still has his loyal core fans, resulting in 2.4 million listeners on Spotify, he struggled to come to terms with the negative impact that Look Alive had on his career, even when people pointed out to him.
Do you feel like you, in some ways, you kind of blew up so fast that it gave people weird expectations of what was supposed to be coming from you?
To be honest, I feel like I didn't even blow up that fast. It's just like motherfuckers weren't even on me. So when I had this song, it blew up. I didn't blow up, the song blew up.
That's
so
facts. That's facts, though.
People didn't even just know that I had like fucking 4 mixtapes out before this shit. So I always had a grind anyways. So I feel like people just don't understand that.
Even though things aren't in his favor, BlockBoy is confident that good things are coming his way. He still believes he'll rise to the top again and will eventually step out of Drake's shadow.
Yeah, they'll tune out, and guess what? They're gonna come back again. If I see, like, it's just time. It just take time. And like, the longer you keep rapping, and the more you keep going, it's the bigger your fan base get. Like, I know when I first dropped them with my real fans, like, I already knew that, because every time I look at my comments, we just see something about Drake or some shit. But now, like, the comments change.
What's interesting is that these days, BlockBoy is trying to ride the same wave by reaching out to Drake for another collaboration. This time, he didn't just slide into Drake's DMs, but he made it public on his Instagram story saying, "I think it's time for another one at Champagne Poppy." This time around, even Drake's fans recognized that there wasn't much for the Six God to gain from teaming up with BlockBoy ever again. Some even have gone far as to comment things.
It's no longer the 6 God, he's the 69 God.
Like, Drake probably avoiding watching that story right now. And BlockBoy fell off. No waves to ride there for the boy. Rather than being the megastar that Look Alive set him up to be, BlockBoy is now left in obscurity, and his fallout is even being mocked by fellow rappers like Bandman Kevo.
Yeah, he fell out. I don't care. He should have said.
The moment that, like, an artist fell off, like, how you know an artist has fallen off, I don't know why I couldn't say that, it's when their old shit is their best shit. That's how you know. I mean, for a lot of cases, like Kanye's different. I feel like Kanye's different. His old shit could still be considered his best shit, but he's still pumping out good to solid music. You feel me? Whereas, though, let's look at, I'm from Philly, right? From Philadelphia, for those who don't know. Meek Mill was it for us, bro. Everybody knew every lyric to every song. Meek Mill, now, bro, nobody really listens to him no more. And if they do, they're listening to old shit. Meek Mill has put out music. Nobody gives a fuck about it no more. And obviously it's because of all the Diddy shit and all that crazy shit. But, like, his music just don't hit the same no more. You know what I mean? It's kind of like I compare Meek Mill to Kevin Hart, in a sense that Kevin Hart's comedy was funny when he was relatable. Now that his comedy is now, I got a new house. Oh man, I gotta walk in my yard. I gotta do stuff. La. It's not funny no more. Where I feel like Meek, like his big thing is coming from the hood and being from the hood and doing this and doing this. It's like, bro, at this time in your life, you've been rich more than you've been poor. Like you've been, like it's no longer you hungry for money. You got money, and it's hard to like try to put people onto his specific style of music. Talking about from the trenches, talking about this, it's hard to keep pumping out music like that when you no longer are in that situation. Like it's hard, bro. Like your music was about the streets. You're no longer from the streets. It's a very different. It's very weird time especially for like an artist. Like, and it's sad. It's sad though.
Nothing about me. He fell off. He do not got no money like me. He shouldn't have came at me. He fell off.
I don't know who the fuck this nigga is.
All that dancing and doing this with the leg shit is over with. It's over with, bro. You don't got it.
Once riding a wave that.
But like, who's bro? Like who is he? Like I know he's falling off. I at least knew him at one point. I ain't never even know you, bro.
Drake hopped on, only to jump off before it faded. BlockBoy isn't alone in briefly benefiting from Drake's knack for recognizing what's hot in the culture. Sometimes this phenomenon even extends to rappers from Drake's own city, which was the case for a rapper by the name of Smiley. An underground MC from Toronto, Smiley started his career rhyming with the Garden Gang clique. After a 2015 stint in jail derailed his momentum, Smiley got his initial exposure through tracks like 9 on Me, and soon, Drake could be seen rapping his track from the pool.
She might dance, 9 shots in my pants. Or land, that's a label. She want chillin' with no cable. Now I'm popping and annoying, wow. I don't join in. Right.
Officially on Drake's radar since 2017, he soon signed to Drake's OVO label, and to him, it seemed like the perfect scenario. At that point, Drake really started pushing him heavily on social media.
I seen a picture with you and Ross, and Drake captions the shit that you're his favorite rapper.
Oh yeah.
Right? What that felt like when you seen that.
Peep how there's a common thing of Drake calling these lower artists his favorite rapper, so they can do music with him. I'm just trying to put y'all on to what he's doing. Like I said it in the beginning, like he's using these newer artists to reach newer fan bases, to show that he is still relevant, so he can still top them charts. I'm telling you, just there's a method to his madness. Like there's a.
His love still already like he's already said things like that too already. So I was like, I was just surprised he posted that like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
With that kind of cosign, he started to believe that he was the one.
Sure, it's like I've finally gotten to embrace everything. Like, you know, I understand it, but like I've been like that. I've been asking myself like, why me? But I'm gonna keep asking myself that for how long now? Like, you know?
Yeah, it's me.
You know,
Yeah.
but real shit. Why me? But it's just, it's love. Like that's what's crazy, because now I even see what he sees. Real shit, like, you know, it's crazy. It's like, I do believe, like.
But unfortunately for Smiley, no one else saw it. And when he finally got the Drake cosign on 2021's Over
God damn
the Top, his flow got clowned by the masses, and everyone pretty much thought he fumbled his opportunity.
I've never heard this song.
Everything go when you live in that.
What am I listening to? I'm finna get mad, bro, cause this shit, bro. It getting me hot, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro.
The comments were just as ruthless. One of the hardest verses from Drake in a long time, and Smiley does this. Smiley sounds like he has tickle battles with his homeboys. Despite the fact that the track got number 57 on the chart, his 2021 album, Buy or Buy 2, sold abysmally, clocking in at just 1.5k units in its first week. Since then, he's barely been a factor, but has denied falling off, without any real evidence to back it up, aside from the fact that he was chilling on a boat. but falling by the wayside in Drake's priorities after a hit isn't exactly anything new. I mean, just look at what happened to I Love McConan, another artist who acquired Drake's attention from a self-released project. McConan's debut EP popped off, courtesy of tracks like Tuesday and I Don't Sell Molly No More. After putting in a call to producer Sonny Digital, Drizzy got his hands on the track, and suddenly, McConan's life changed.
Now, when Drake got on it, what did you say?
Oh, man, I just fainted in the house. You saw that little video. I was like, what the hell happened? You know what I'm saying? I was just tripping with my friends, you know what I'm saying, smoking weed, hanging out. Somebody tweeted me a link like, oh, that new Drake and I Love McConan is fire. And I just favored it like, oh, yeah, that would be dope. He must mean like if me and Drake made a track, that would be hot. And I was like, yeah, that would be hot. The official OVO page tweeted me and was like, Drake, I Love McConan featuring Drake, Tuesday remix. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, no way. I met Drake after the show, after watching the show and shit.
Wait, so he just took his music? Motherfucker just said, I'm going to be on the Future. The motherfucker thought this shit was a joke. It's crazy.
Then he came up to me singing some more lyrics from like I Don't Sell Molly and all that. And I was just like, what? How do you know my music?
Did he also say that you're his favorite artist?
You know what I'm saying?
Soon after that, McConan signed to OVO and thought he won the music industry lottery. But just a year after he got signed, the Californian was lifting the lid on the experience and even claimed that Drake threatened to put hands on him at one point. In a lengthy interview with The Fader, McConan expressed how he felt like Drake and his crew were, quote, scared when they saw how easily he could cook up some bangers, before expressing how he felt betrayed by Drake's camp for the way he was treated when he entered their orbit. Why y'all want to play games? Why didn't y'all just tell me you didn't want to fuck with me anymore and just let me go about my own way? Why did y'all make me chase you all the way the fuck around and make me look like a fucking fool? Why would you do this? I was threatened by others, someone I so-called look up to, saying we gon' fuck you up the next time we see you. Believing that OVO only signed him because they needed a hot song, McConan has stayed on his independent grind, but nothing's ever hit the same since he had this misadventure with OVO. But while there might have always been a ceiling on McConan's success anyways, one person who many think has been held back by his association with Drake is Party Next Door. An R&B pioneer in the eyes of the fans, the fellow Canadian has been clicked up with Drake since 2014. And while The Weeknd refused to sign to OVO, Party Next Door was happy to sign his name on the dotted line. I could go to a label where they don't know how to handle me and they don't care, he said of his decision. Or I'll have a mentor who's been through it, who knows exactly what I want.
This is great, because the next video we're going to watch is the best label to sign to.
To mean to my city and what I want to achieve. They know how to handle your emotions. I'll have freedom and guidance. Even though he claimed to have all this freedom, he later revealed in an interview that he had to give Drake the track Wednesday Night Interlude for one of his projects, even though he wanted it for himself. But there's no denying that Drake made a really big impact for him. In 2016, Come and See Me got him onto the charts. And in 2019, Loyal became his biggest commercial success so far. But there's times where PND's frustration with his role at OVO has boiled over, particularly when it comes to writing for other artists.
I'm 23, but I feel 43. You know what I mean? That's something to write for these other people.
PND has faced criticism for either sharing his hits with Drake or finding his biggest successes alongside him. He once tweeted and deleted his plans to leave the label after one more album in November of 2020 when he wrote, "One more album, then I'll tell y'all what it's like." But now that so much time has passed, it's hard to imagine that even as talented as he is, that he could ever reach the full potential he had before wasting valuable time on the shelf at OVO. As for others, the Drake cosign seemed to come at the perfect time, only to be unable to capitalize. This was definitely the case for Young Blue, an Alabama artist who initially made waves back in 2017 with Miss It. Blue has always had clear star power, but when his buzz started to take a little dip, having Drizzy hop on 2020's Your Mind Still changed everything for him. Before that, he was battling to get a fair deal from record labels and almost signed his life away on what would have been a terrible contract. But the minute that he was seen next to Drizzy, he suddenly had leverage.
The deal they was offering me, it was like a lot of projects involved in that. Like, and I was just like, man, I ain't got no other choice,
Like
man. I'm just
projects?
finna take the opportunity, huh?
Like three projects or so?
Like 4. And they wanted my old masters, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
hell to the
Yeah.
fucking no.
And it was a number like 250 type shit.
2.5 mil?
No, like 250,000, like advance. Okay, just put it in perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like before the Drake record dropped, well, soon as the Drake record dropped, I was having bidding wars between $8 and $9 million.
Really?
Yeah.
The lead single from his album Moon Boy, the record peaked at number 12, and soon after, he was blowing up like crazy. But to this day, Your Mind Still has double the plays of his next most popular song. And while albums like 2023's Love Scars 2 did alright, he still hasn't been able to get a hit that comes anywhere close to the impact of the collab with the Six God. Through these artists, we get a glimpse into the potential negative effects of getting the Drake stimulus package. But why does this happen to so many of them? And who exactly is to blame? Drake's critics often suggest that there are hidden reasons behind his collaborations. Since his rise to fame, he's faced accusations of capitalizing on others' sounds or leveraging their hype for his own gain. Back in 2015, when he first started co-signing Kodak Black.
Hey, listen. Because that's literally everything I fucking said. That is literally everything I said. That he's using newer artists and they look good on him, that he's helping them.
Earl Sweatshirt called him a vulture on Twitter, where he wrote, "I still feel like Drake's overall statement isn't 'check this new shit I heard.' It's always self-serving." And a lot of people agree. Drake obviously embraces the curator/trendsetter persona, and he's decent enough at it. But it doesn't ever seem like he manages long-term working relationships with these artists he quote-unquote discovers. Whether it's Dej Loaf, Fetty, or McConnen, it feels like nothing can happen in hip-hop without him. He's a vampire. But according to Drake, it's nothing as sinister as that. Whether it's UK rap or Afrobeat he's tapping into, it's just because he's a music lover.
I like to enjoy what's going on, man. I appreciate all these young people creating all these things.
Talking about, what'd you just say?
I like to enjoy what's going on, man. I appreciate all these young people create.
What you mean you appreciate all these young people? Drake? What you mean you appreciate all these young people? We got him. We got him. We got him. Call the cops.
Creating all these things, it takes some real energy and synergy to create a good song.
Yeah.
I hate that people think that me being into music from these kids that are trying to make it and trying to build a name for themselves is oh, that's some culture vulture. Hey, what does that even mean? I don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
Would you rather me not
exactly
acknowledge anything or support? That's some hater shit, but it is what it is. I see it a lot, and I guess people have their own outlook on it.
But it's fair to say that not everyone thinks it's as straightforward as that. In the eyes of the TDE rapper Daylight, he'll just use them up and throw them away.
We live in an era where people need to suck other people's juice. So they're going to make friends with him, especially you know who. He's going to make friends with him. He's going to try to do a song with him and feed off of him like he does every up-and-coming rapper. What's going to happen is they're going to get on your records, they're going to take your style, and they're going to blow up, and then when you dry out, they're going to keep going.
And when you look at the careers of people like BlockBoy JB and McConnen, he might have a point. Then you have the problems he faces with the artists on his label. Similar to P&D's experience, there's a feeling that many of the artists are fueling the Drake machine. OVO's Majid Jordan once described a studio setup that was way more similar to a boot camp than it was to a recording session, where artists are secluded, working tirelessly on projects without outside contact. The result? Well, it gave us hits like Just Hold On, We're Going Home, which, as many of you know, is one of Drake's most popular tracks. But it's stories like this that alter some fans' perceptions to the point that they believe Drake operates a musical sweatshop disguised as a label. So when his newest signee, 4Bats, joined, they were trying to warn him about what to expect. Welcome to the sweatshop, 4Bats. Your stay is indefinite. To noted Drake stan academics, there are definitely problems that arise from the Drake stimulus package.
Drake has successfully cleared himself of a number 2. This was artistry and wizardry at its finest. Hear me out.
But everybody know, Ack is not no normal fan, bro. Ack is attached to this man's dick, bro. It doesn't make sense on how crazy this motherfucker is attached to Drake, bro. You would swear, bro. You would fucking swear that this fucking Drake is Ack's fucking soulmate, bro. You would have swear it, honestly.
Drake rocked all these newcomers to sleep that could be possibly an incumbent. Okay, little baby, all right, bet. See, Drake never hates on the new guy. He just shows him overly love and almost gets credit for the new guy come up. Then after a while, he steps away from the nigga, and shit never looks the same.
But when it
That's exactly what the fuck I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying. He uses them for their hype. He rides their wave. He drains their hype. they go away thinking that they are still somebody because they did something with Drake. Everybody looks at Drake as the nice guy because he helped them. But in reality, bro, after that one song, he lets niggas go, bro. He's not helping them, bro.
Comes down to it, Drake is ultimately
That's why
free
I'm
to give
glad,
a feature to whoever he
Wave
wants.
understood
And if
that
they're
shit,
not
bro.
on his label, he doesn't owe them anything else. In fact, while it might give these rappers a buzz in wake of the track dropping, it's not his job to give them a whole career.
No, that's facts. That's facts, though. That is facts. Yeah. I didn't learn anything that I didn't already know, or my opinions didn't change from what they already were from this stuff. If anything, it boldened them. It made them stronger. Yeah. I you know what I'm saying? Obviously, Drake is a great artist. Like, obviously. You feel me? I just don't like the way he move. I just don't like the way he move. You feel me? And also, am I a little salty that the fucking rap beef is over? Yeah, a little bit. Get a little bit, bro. And the way it ended was so mid. It was so, like, trash the way it ended. Because it was like, I wanted to pick a fucking winner. Like, no matter, I'm a Kendrick fan. And I listen to Drake's music. I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't. But, like, I wanted to be like, Drake killed Kendrick. Like, this is it. Like, Drake took it, or Kendrick took it. Like, I wanted to have a victor. Like, I wanted to have a real, like, this motherfucker won. Whether it was against what I wanted or against my fandom or not, like, I wanted to have a winner. And it's like, we have been deprived of that. Like, we never got a chance to even see that. And even though people can say Kendrick won, like I said in the beginning, like, I give it an incomplete. Like, I give it incomplete. Like, it sucks that it ended that way. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, I'll see you. Peace.